So one, two, three. So hey guys, welcome back to Anandra. And today we have Samarth Jha with us. He has recently been admitted to UWC Japan.
And he's really passionate, and we just thought that his experience could help us and the audiences as well. So I would just request Samar, could you please introduce yourself to the audiences?
Hey guys, so my name is Samarth and I'm from Nepal. Firstly, I feel very humbled and glad to be a part of this platform. Thank you so much, Radhika and Ans, for inviting me. I feel so humbled and glad to be a part of this program. Currently, I'm a 17-year-old student, a mental math trainer, an MUN, and a debater. And also, recently, I founded a non-profit project through which we aim to connect waste collectors with the public. So this is who I am.
We're really glad to have you here. So to initially start with, I thought that we could just make the people aware that what actually is UWC, and I think you could give us a better insight about what actually UWC is. So yeah.
So UWC actually stands for United World College. So United World College is a movement of schools all around the world. So UWC actually started from UK in 1960 and then it expanded till more than like 18 countries. So currently by coming till 2021, there are more than 18 UWC schools all around the world. So these schools are basically a 2-year school program for high school students from all around the world, where students from different countries come together. They stay for 2 years in one campus and they share their perspective, they share their knowledge, and then they go through all the hardships and the challenges at a UWC school. And then they make out the best out of there. So that is basically what UWC is. And the reason what makes UWC different from other institutions all around the world is that UWC actually gives a lot of scholarships to a lot of people who are in need of them. So students from very different rural areas are being promoted and are being able to get into UWC. So I feel that is the most important thing and the most best thing about UWC is the socio-economic diversity that is there in UWC. Apart from that, there's also cultural diversity and the national diversity that is there in UWC. So that is basically what UWC is.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
I think it's really important for an institution to give scholarships so they can have diverse people because not everyone can pay $10,000 and such a huge amount. And so I would like to ask about the steps for the application process, like step to get into UWC. So there is application process, there is interview, and then there is selection. So if you could just explain about all the three steps, like application process, interviews, and then the selection part.
So the selection process of UWC is quite rigorous and quite tedious because it's a 7 to 8 month long process. And during this time, like student like us get at times very impatient and there's so much anxiety within itself.
Yeah.
So the first step that is there for UWC is fill out the application. So pretty much application depends on national committee of each country. So for India, it depends on the National Committee of India when they are going to release, and so on for Nepal and India and Bangladesh and other countries. But in our country, application are mostly started in August, early August. So students who graduated or who passed a class 10 from Nepal are eligible to apply for UWC and then they are eligible to apply through this selection form. So they actually release an application form where there are so many different criteria we have to fill up. So in the application, what basically there is that they ask us to write 2 essays ranging from 300 to 500 words about what we like to do, about different questions that also depends on national committees. Apart from that, they ask us about our extracurricular activities that we do in school. So they asked us to list down our 5 major extracurricular activities that we did inside our school. So it
Right.
can be you may be a vice captain or a house captain of your house, you may be a leader of your student body, or you may be good in sports. So you can list out 5 activities what you did inside your school, And then apart from that, they also ask us anything that we did apart from our academics and something that we did inside our school. So they ask us what we did outside of our school, like any
Yeah.
initiations that we did, any volunteerings that we did, or anything new or anything unique that we did. So this is basically the application of UWC. And in that, they also ask us about our extra academic credentials. So how much marks we got in class 10 and grade 8 and grade 10. On the basis of that, they also summarize our application. So I feel the application is really, really important. Like even till the last round of the interview. So even if we are in the second round and the third round of interview, the interviewers are basically referring us with the application that we gave. So I just advise everyone to, like, whenever they are applying, just go through the application and give some a lot of time to the application, to your essays, to whatever you write, because that is really important and that lasts like till the last of the process. So after
Yeah.
that, there are a lot of students who apply, and then they handpick and select a particular number of students for the second round. So the second round, what basically happens is there are group discussions, and then there are personal interviews. So in Nepal, this is what basically happened: group discussions and personal interview. But in India, it might also be like essay writing and other one more segment. I'm not sure about, but in Nepal, this is what actually happens. But this year again, due to the COVID crisis, like these things are supposed to be happen in person, but due to COVID, we were done an interview online. So it was like this, like there were 6 interviewers interviewing us in the second round. So in our second round, we did not have any group activities. We just had like six interviewers interviewing us. And then they basically, what they asked us in the second interview is give out a presentation on different questions that they gave to us. And on the basis of presentation, our entire interview lasted. So on the basis of what we told them, they asked us questions. And that is what happens in the second round. And in the third round is the final round. So since we had like COVID, and since the group discussion wasn't done in the second round, in the third round we had group discussion and the personal interview. So the group discussion was like they like separated or made a group of like 9 to 10 students. So there was one big table and there were 10 students sitting around, and then they gave us a topic, like let's say any topic, like why is like there might be a lot of topic. I don't think
Yeah,
I
yeah,
should
yeah.
be telling the
Yeah,
topic,
yeah.
Yeah.
but like there are so many topics, and then they tell us to debate upon this topic. So they separate a group of 5 and 5 to the proposition side and group of 5 to the opposition side. So basically what they see is they don't necessarily see us like, what kind of debate or which team wins the debate. What they see is how much engaging we are being in the selection, how much engaging we are being in the debate, how much are we contributing to the debate ideology, and how are we. So they look us how we are behaving, what we are saying, how we are saying, and the content we are saying. And after that, like they gave us 20 to 30 minute of time to prepare, and that preparation is also being monitored closely by the selectors. And after 30 minutes, they give us 15 minutes to like engage and discuss and debate. So during that time also they monitor us closely. So then there it's an open floor for students to like give out their opinion about what their team discussed, and then on the behalf of their team, anyone can kind of represent. So that is basically the 1, 2, 3 down of UWC in short.
And I think the doing the meeting part is really important, as it shows how about a leader you are, how you work,
uh,
and I think that
yeah,
is why they
exactly.
have this. And
Yeah, definitely. It really reflects your personality through the way you talk. So it's a pretty tedious
Yeah.
process. Yes. So the next question is like,
yeah.
what was the one thing in your portfolio that made you stand out of the group and was seen independently?
I mean, when you talk about one thing, even I don't know what
Yeah.
they actually saw in me and
Hmm.
why they selected me.
Yeah.
But I think the kind of activities that I did outside of my school, when I was in my grade 8, 9, and 10, let's say grade 9 and 10, these were the activities that not a lot of students all around Nepal like mostly do, because they don't do a lot of activities outside of the school. So I feel that the kind of extracurriculars I did outside of the school and the initiations I took on my own was something
Yeah.
that made me different, I think. Because I come from, like, I reside in Biratnagar. So Biratnagar is a semi-urban city in Nepal, where most of the opportunities in Nepal are basically centered towards Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. And a lot of opportunities are not there in other cities such as Pokhara or Biratnagar or other semi-urban cities. So it's really important for teenagers like us, to kind of generate our own opportunity if there are no opportunity.
Mm.
So I think that is what kind of impressed them, might have impressed them. I'm not
Definitely.
sure, but I personally feel that that might have been a case.
Definitely. That's wonderful step. I mean, you took, and it's very inspiring, though.
So
Thank you.
I just wanted to know how can we be different in our application? How can we make ourselves different if anyone is applying? So what do you think can make us different while applying? Like with our extracurriculars or with our marks, like you have the very good marks, like 98% in your 10th exam. So that will make you stand apart. Or you have very good extracurriculars, that will make you stand apart. So what do you think plays the main role? Your marks, your
Your
extracurriculars?
personality, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be a combination of all these. But
Hmm.
every person is kind of different. Like every
Yeah.
student is very different. So some student might be very good in communication, while other might be very good in extracurricular, and they might not be able to reach out their opinions to the very best.
Hmm.
So realizing what our strong point is, our stronghold in the application is really important. So for me, when I applied, I knew from the time I applied that my strong point may be my extracurricular activities, because I had been doing different extracurriculars in my grade 9 and 10, and most importantly I did it outside of the school. So I
Yeah.
genuinely felt that that might make me different, because at the same time I had comparatively good marks, right? But when I came to the round 2 and round 3, most of the thing that revolves in the selection is not just extracurricular. So I saw students, so like my friends who were really great while they applied, and like they had really great extracurricular activities, but in the second round they were not able to express themselves, or they were not
Yeah.
able to answer
Mm.
like questions about societal problems that are there in society, how we can minimize them, or about global issues, or about different other things. So I feel that everything like connects with one another. So if
Hmm.
I'm good at extracurriculars, or I did a lot of extracurriculars, that does not like imply that I'm have a higher chance. But what might imply, if I'm able to connect that extracurricular with my personality, if I'm able to preach out my extracurricular to them in a manner that I am able to tell them why I did this, because
Yeah.
of a problem that I saw. So I think it's just an overall connection. And also one more thing, what I genuinely felt in the selection round was in Nepal, in the Nepal National Committee. The national selectors necessarily did not kind of judge us based on our English. So they did not judge us based on our how fluent English we speak. What they judged us was on the content that we told them,
Hmm.
on our own ideology that we
Yeah.
told them. So there was different questions that they asked, like ranging from world politics to societal problems to governmental problems. So they wanted to look into us, like who we are as a person. So in that process, you can either speak in your own native language, that might be Hindi, or for us it was Nepali. So a lot of students were comfortable in Nepali, so they told you can speak in Nepali, but just tell your own opinions. So just
Yeah.
Yeah.
being yourself, because even before the selection I was very nervous. So just being yourself and telling your own idea is really important. That at the end kind of sets you apart. You don't have to be like if I'm like telling this, then selection committee might be impressed. No, you just can be you, who you are as real. If you don't believe in certain ideologies, then you can say I don't believe because of this. If you believe that capitalism is bad, I mean, you can just tell your own opinion why you feel so. They will appreciate us. So
Yeah.
like just being ourselves, it might actually differentiate, because a lot of students don't do that. So just
Right.
be
Yeah,
yourself.
I have seen many interviews of Harvard students and their main they emphasize on that be yourself. Don't try to mold yourself according to the college. So if you are picked,
Yeah,
then you are the perfect fit for them. And yeah,
yeah,
so I
And
think
that's a
that
very good point that the language is not the barrier because a lot of children,
exactly.
were not as verbally expressive. get an opportunity to actually speak in their language. So it's a really great point, and we should consider that as well. And basically, I think you answered the next question for us already. That what actually does UWC want us from us?
So yeah, it's all yeah, I think,
Yeah, that's pretty much answered. Like, they just want you to be expressive, be opinionated.
and most importantly, be yourself. Just don't copy someone.
Yeah.
Try to mold.
Is there anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, like when we were applying from the National Committee of Nepal, I mean, there was four criterias that they basically told us beforehand. So the first criteria was integrity, second was resilience, third was, you are being able to look up to yourself, like you are not dependent when you go there. And there was also one more thing, like socially competent, how you are able to interact with more people. So
Yeah.
these were the four basic and most important thing. And like even I haven't gone to UWC currently. Even I'm in Nepal and I
Yeah.
am in my holidays. But just before a few days, we had our induction program from the national committee, and then they told us that how tough UWC might be, what are the challenges we are going to face. So in that situation, when we are all alone in a new country with so many new friends, like in a very new environment, what they want us to be is like very resilient and very adaptive. So I
Hmm.
think like if any one of us feel like whoever are watching it, that you can adapt to situations according to the demand, and then you can take care of yourself when you go there, and then when you are resilient, that is when you get low grades, you can bounce back, or when you are not doing good in extracurriculars, you can bounce back. I mean, you are the kind of student they are looking for. So
Right.
Hmm.
we all know in heart like who might be. So just if you feel these traits, just give it a try, just
Yeah,
apply.
definitely.
I would like to ask, did your stats help you to get in UWC? Like your marks in 10th or ninth?
I mean, it might be subjective, if I'm speaking, but in UWC there's a lot of competition. Like
Yeah.
after grade 10, there are a lot of students who are applying into this opportunity, and on top of that, the seats are very less given to smaller countries, or different countries. Like there might be very small number of seats given to Bangladesh or Nepal or Bhutan, and India might have a lot of seats, right? But then there's more competition in
People
that
Yes,
applying,
because there
yeah.
are more
definitely.
students.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's very proportional. So in that sense, when there are a lot of competition, then your extracurricular activities is very helpful. But on top of that, if you have a very good academic credential, then that does help you. Like for example, if you have a good academics, and on top of that you are doing extracurricular activities, it symbolizes that you are able to balance your studies and extracurricular
Hmm.
activity to a very
Yeah,
Yes,
good
yeah.
degree.
yes,
So when you go there at UWC itself, then also you might be able to do the same thing, that you might be able to focus on your academics, but at the same time you'll pursue your extracurricular activities. But in rare exceptions, if students are extraordinarily talented, so it might be the case that some student like they might be interested in some other subject, but they are reading just like subject that bores them, right? And due to
Hmm.
that,
yeah,
other circumstances, they are getting low marks, but they are
Yeah.
very very extraordinary intelligent in terms of other things that they do, so like
yeah,
filmmaking or like all the other things that they do, right? So in that cases they do like take in some student, but that are very rare cases.
yes,
So like it's okay if you have like average academics and extraordinary ECA. And what's also great is that if you have great academics and great ECA, that is obviously helpful.
definitely.
So
So what do you think is an average like that?
Yeah, I
Like
would
in
just about to ask.
percentage, like
Even what is the average? You think because everybody has a different graph.
um yeah, I mean, um what might be an average is like for our national committee in Nepal, the minimum requirement for applying to UWC in academics was like 3.2 GPA. So when you calculate that, it's like 78%. So
Uh-huh.
like if you have more than 78%, you are eligible to apply. So since they are giving you this opportunity, that they are telling you you are eligible to apply, I mean that might be average academics, right? But
Yeah.
if you have more, so let's say in terms of CBSE, if you have like more than 80% and below 90%, that is still a kind of very good marks, very good percentage. And on top of that, if you are doing different ECAs, different initiation you are taking, then that
Yes.
is a bonus. So I mean, that is what I mean, like average.
So your marks matters for 10th class or 9th class or both. So they check your 10th class marks or
um I think mostly for class 10,
okay.
Oh,
because like class 10 is the last class, so ultimately that's the like recent class that we attended.
Yeah.
But what they took our like marks was from grade 8. So grade 8 and grade 10, our national committee asked us to submit our grades, because in grade 8 we have our board exams in Nepal, and
Oh,
in grade
oh,
10
oh.
also we have our board exams. So
okay.
that's why they asked. And I think why they asked us grade 8 was to see our improvement or deterioration. So like there might be some student who might get really great grades in grade 8, but then it might fall down in grade 9 or 10, right? So if they are asking grade 8 to just refer if we are improving or going down in academics. So I mean
Yeah.
that graph is also like important.
I think almost coming to the end, I would just like to ask, if you could go back in time to the time when you were actually applying, what were the difficulties, or you could not kind of
Or I
correct
just take
some
it like that. Ki, what is one thing you would like to change when you
change.
were applying?
Yeah, so that we can turn that out into tips for the budding UWC aspirants.
Yeah, like one thing that I might change is like I didn't know about UWC like from the time like just it was 1 month left to apply. So the
Oh,
time like it was 1 month left to apply, I got to know about UWC through the informational session. So like a lot of like people who are seeing this, I mean they are very lucky to know about UWC very early, like in grade 7, 8 or 9 or 10. So like one thing that I might change, I mean they ask us questions like questions like if that this country is in Middle East and that country is in Middle East, which country would you choose and why, right?
hmm.
So in these scenarios, what I regretted was like I just told them my own personal opinion, right? So
Hmm.
at that point, what we can also do is that telling out a diplomatic answer. Like
Hmm.
I like this country because of this. I like this country because of this. And at last, so giving out both the opinions, and at last, I personally what I feel is this country. But what I did was basically I was just going through and I basically feel this country because of this, and I
Hmm.
totally ignored the other country. So
Yeah.
in that case, there might be people from in the selection committee from that particular
Okay.
country who might get offended.
Yeah.
So like these diplomatic answers is very useful, and also like using neutral terms, like when there are a lot of people in groups, like instead of telling just hi guys, because guys is for boys, so hey boys and girls, hey friends, like using neutral terms, that is also that
Yes.
they keenly like look up to how much mindful we are about these
Hmm.
things. These things add bonus. I was unaware about these things, but up to recently in the UWC induction program that we had, they told about these gestures. Whenever you are applying to UWC, you might be in grade 11. You might be pursuing your college, that is grade 11 in another school. So as a backup, definitely have one school as your backup in which you are studying, right? And
Yeah.
also on that, just like focus on your academics on that school, because that is definitely going to help us in UWC. That was something that I wasn't totally able to do because like we had corona and online classes, and then I wasn't really able to focus on my academics. And at last, like I was very much dependent on if I get in, then that would be really great. So like if we are up to studies in our like backup school, then that is very helpful. So just don't leave your academics in your backup school and just focus on UWC, because like UWC is also
I
then a
wanted
bit
to
of
get in.
You should always have a
yeah,
plan B ready and focus on that as well. Right.
yeah, exactly. So just take up this and balance, and just like think positive. If we are manifesting, we'll go and we have
Yes.
that features, I mean, we definitely have a lot of chance to get in with
Definitely.
it.
Definitely.
So my last question to you is, I have seen that you got Locals 2020 award. So do you think that getting these awards helped you to get in UWC, or did it play a main role in your application?
I mean, like, a lot of students mostly do not get awards like in class 9 or 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I was lucky to get that award of local 2020. But at the same time, like, we are 19 people in this batch of our UWC, and I'm not sure if other students might have gotten any awards, right? So it's just like if you have gotten any award, is helpful. It strengthens your application, and it kind of sets out your impression in the selection committee beforehand. What do I
Mm-hmm.
mean from this? So like when you are going to round 2 in the interview, and if you have an award and good ECAs, good academics, you have set out a basically a good impression in the selector's mind. They remember you in their mind. So when you come to interview, they are keenly looking for you. They have high expectations from you. So during that time, if we are able to deliver on our like application, if our application matches with how we say, what we say, when we say all these things, that I mean that's really a bonus point. But
Yeah.
if we haven't gotten any awards, that is also not any problem, because a lot of awards are not necessarily there. Like if we are working in animal activism, I mean there might not be that many awards, right? Or
Yeah.
we might not know about these awards beforehand. Anything might be the case, right? For so many students, so awards is really kind of like sets your impression. It helps to set your impression, but at the end of the day, everything depends on how you speak, on your personality, what you speak, how mindfully we speak, how
Yeah.
respectfully we speak, and the attitude and the thoughts that we have garnered from our childhood. So basically, the most important thing is we, the byproduct of our childhood upbringing, the byproduct of our environment that we wear, and the news
Definitely.
that we read. They want to see us. They, like if there's someone who has gotten so many awards, but like kind of don't fulfill the criteria of UWC, I mean they might not take it. So it strengthens the application, and if you are able to use that by expressing yourself to the best and then coming to their expectation, that's very very helpful. But at the same time, if we do not have, then that is also not a problem, because a lot of students don't have awards at young age, and that is not a problem.
Definitely. Great. Thank you so much, Samarth,
Yeah.
for taking out time for this conversation. We are really glad we had this, and it's very, I think, it's really informative for us and as well as the audiences. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you everyone
So
for
thank you.
watching.
Thank you guys for having me. Even I wanted to like see my opinions to people, because what I find is that there is not a lot of content in context of Nepal and India in YouTube also. So
Right.
when we are aware with these processes, because when I was applying, I literally did not have anyone to refer to in YouTube. I used to look up to like people who are in European continents or American continents, and then from their national committees I used to get some insight.
Right.
So I feel this is very helpful, and this is something that's really helpful to people who are watching, and I just wish all of them best of luck. Don't worry a lot about UWC. I mean, it's such a big thing. I mean, yes, it definitely is, but it's not the end of the world. You do
Yeah.
have a backup. Please
Definitely.
do have a backup, and whatever happens for a reason. If you are selected, that's really great. But even if you are selected, you do have more responsibility on your back to come up to the expectation of your NC national committee, and then work really hard. So more responsibility comes, and even if you are not selected, God has so much better plans for you. So don't be disheartful. Don't think too much about UWC. What I regret, one more thing in my UWC, was I was taking a lot of stress by coming to the third round. I was being really anxious and more tensed about thinking about the results. And I used to think sometimes the negative side. What if this I do not get
Yeah.
in? And I used to think and go in that like world for a while, and that just kind of sets your personality very down. So
Yes.
just don't do what I made the mistakes. Just be yourself. You guys are really great, and you guys are very ambitious, and that your ambition will take you there someday. So don't worry a lot. Just give your best, and leave the rest to the God and the natural power. And yeah, that's it from
Definitely.
my side.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, everyone.